Hey guys, my name is Babs, or actually Barbara. I'm a German polyglot and also a German teacher. And today I want to tell you about my Hungarian journey, how I started learning it, loving it, how many times I cried, how sad and frustrated I was, and how much I still love it. And my progress is really good, so I want to motivate you, of course. And to answer one question, if you want to learn it, maybe you watch this video because you're like, hey, should I do it or not? Is it too hard? And you know what? The funny thing is, everybody tells me, oh, it's so hard. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I loved this language for many years and I did not know how hard it was. Why does everybody know it? I mean, why does everybody know how hard the language is? I'm sure most people are not very well educated and they don't know much, but they know that Hungarian is hard and they discourage people who want to learn it. So let me tell you, I mean, I did learn languages, so I knew about language learning. This video is not about my other languages, but before I started Hungarian, I had studied, of course, English, French, Spanish, and Dutch. And in 2017, I went to a musical theater, and there was this guy. His name was Daniel Rakas, and now he's a very famous musical Darsteller, actor. I just want to say the German word. A very famous actor here in Germany. But back then, he was just like a little part of the cast. And I went home in November 17, and I looked for him on YouTube because he was so sexy. And then I saw him speak Hungarian there, and just Hungarian. I think there was no English, or maybe in English, but no German video. But he speaks completely without an accent now. So he speaks perfect German. This is amazing. He's so, so talented. And I went, okay, my cat is puking. I'm so sorry if you hear this now. Um, this is like, she can do this like all the time, but she's doing it in the video. I'm so ashamed. Guys, I'm so sorry. So I came home, I Googled him, I saw him speak Hungarian, and I fell in love with the language. It was just so sexy. This guy speaking the language with the K's at the end, like félek, beszélek. I was like, I mean, maybe he doesn't say félek because it means like I'm afraid, but I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like, this is so sexy. And I loved this sound. And in 2017, I was not a language lover. I spoke English, of course. I had learned French many years ago. And I was like, yeah, hot language, but that's it. And when I started loving my languages, I always Googled a bit about Hungarian, and everybody was like, it's so hard, it's so hard. And I said, okay, then I don't do it. And then I started it again, or not again, I started it in January 22, and I started with the conjugations. And then I stopped because of the conjugations. I had one class with a girl, what's her name? She's a very famous polyglot. Her last name is Szép, which means, what is her first name? Which means beautiful, by the way. And we talked, like in Hungarian, Szép is beautiful. I don't know her first name, but she's a polyglot. And I knew her from YouTube. And I said, hey, I want to take a class with her. But it didn't like really click. So my first class was not, she was nice, but it was just not the chemistry that was good together, you know. So I said, okay, the conjugations are hard. The class was not so much fun. So I started with Russian. And after 4 classes and a couple of weeks of learning, I stopped it because it was just not in my heart. And it was this feeling of, you have to learn Hungarian first. So I started Swedish again, which I always had like on off. Yeah, after the feeling of, you really need to learn Hungarian, I said, no, it's too hard, Swedish again. But then I realized, no, I really have to do this. And it was in January of 24, the 2nd of January 24, that is okay. If everybody says that it's so hard, maybe just everybody is too stupid. And forgive me, I do not want to offend you, but this was the way that I could start. I just said, okay, maybe you're just too stupid. For me, this language is not too hard. And I started it. And you know what I always say about Hungarian? It's like driving. When I was younger, there was just no navigation system. We had cards, like not cards, maps, but it was really hard. I'm 41, by the way. It was really, really hard to find the way, even though driving a car was so easy. It was the easiest thing, right? But finding your way was so hard. And this is the same with Hungarian. Hungarian is so logical. It's like Turkish, and I had learned Turkish in 2012 for a while. So the endings, once you understand it, once you understand the system, it's really easy. I do not say that I'm completely there. Definitely not. Definitely not. But the learning itself is easier now because I know what to learn. I know how things work. I still have to study it, but I know how to do it. You know what I mean? So if you want to drive a car and you know, like, okay, I have to go left here and right there, then it's easy. You still have to drive it. You still have to fill it up, but you know how to do it. And it's the same, you still have to drive your car and you still have to sit in the car for 10 hours if you want to get from Munich to Hamburg, but you know how to do it when you have a navigation system. You still have to do it, but you know how to. And this is where I am now. I say I have to study, but I know how to study. And yeah, we have 14 months after I started, and let me tell you about my progress. So I think the worst time was in July, between July and September of 24. So I started at the beginning of January 24. And July to September was really bad. I went to Budapest in September and I wanted to prepare, and I had these words in my head and I could not really speak. And I said that everything was fine, and I talked a bit to waiters and they were really happy about that. It's true, they really are so happy when you say, what did I say? Minden finom volt. So just that everything was good. And I always like, I have to say something. And then I said my sentence, and it was so funny because they were like, is she complaining about the food? Their eyes were like, oh my God, what is she saying? But then I complimented them and they were happy. And so, yeah, it was very rewarding to see people understand me. And then after 11 and a half months, I took my first classes to speak. And in Dutch, it was after 2 months, in Spanish, after 3, in French. I had learned how to write it, but never how to speak it. French also maybe after 3 or so, and Hungarian after 4.5. And I could say what I wanted, but not in a good way. And I could not understand my teacher. And today I had a class and she said that I'm so much better and I understood everything so much better as well. And what I did was, the last 10 days, I had studied so much. I had literally put a funnel into my head, and I must say that now I need a little break. For a couple of days, I'm going to Thessaloniki in Greece, and I think I will not do anything for Hungarian now, because I know that now the Hungarian department is just full. It's like a sponge, so it has to soak in, and then you can keep working. But now, too full, too occupied. And I can tell you that it's definitely worth it. So if you're a Hungarian lover, if you want to learn it, it is not as hard as everybody says once you understand the logic. And even if you make mistakes, there are some exceptions, but if you make mistakes, they understand it. And if you do not know how to conjugate, you do not have to say the right conjugation. It's the same in Spanish. You do not have to say quiero. That you can just say yo querer. What is actually the infinitive? Querer? Querer? Querer, I think. So yo querer, tu querer. Is it querer? It sounds so wrong. But I think I never said the infinitive. Because why should I? So, so you can even say the pronoun and then the infinitive. And you do not need the conjugations. And you can say so many things wrong. Or if you just know how to say a multban in the past, and then you say the infinitive, you can also communicate. So it is, if I say yesterday I go, yesterday I eat, people know what you mean. And there are easy ways. You do not have to learn everything, but believe me, it's doable. It's really logic, and it is not as hard as everybody says. I'm not super smart. Believe me, when I studied for university, I learned so much, and it was really, I'm not the super smartest person. I have much time because I'm self-employed. I need to stop now because I don't know why, but my video camera is showing me something weird after 20 seconds now, and then it interrupts and I cannot speak anymore. So I wish you all the best, and do not hesitate, start learning Hungarian today.